Welcome to the Drunken Ship Spoilercast, our first ever spoilercast of The Last of Us Part 2. It's been officially, a week now since the game released? If I'm not mistaken, a week or two? 2 weeks now?
Either a week or
It'd be
2
2
weeks.
weeks. It'd be 2 weeks this Friday.
It was the 19th. Did it come out?
I can't remember.
So
some Friday.
almost 3 weeks.
I don't think so. It'd be 2 weeks.
Yeah, 2 weeks.
Yeah.
2 weeks.
But this is our first ever spoilercast, so we may do some in the future, but just to make it clear, if you have any issues with this spoilercast, give us some tips so we can make improve on the next ones. But as the thumbnail and title says, it's The Last of Us 2 spoilercast. So we're gonna give you our thoughts, opinions on literally everything about the game.
Do you just want to do like? Do you just want to start just wide open, just spoilers?
Yeah. So
if you haven't played the game,
get away.
And you do care about spoilers, get off this video now.
Get off this video.
Go beat the game, and then come back to this video. We'll wait.
Yeah, just come back.
Okay, welcome back. Welcome back to the Spoilercast.
Oh, that's funny.
Now, if you don't care about spoilers and you just want to hear our thoughts and opinions on it, welcome.
Yeah.
So
thank you for tuning in this podcast, though. But
yeah,
not podcast, but the Spoilercast. Just getting this out here. We make a podcast every Friday at 9 a.m. Eastern time, so you should check that out. Hit the notification button. Like and share it. Share it to your friends, family. And yeah, so let's get started. What's your opinion on it?
Yeah, we're gonna just try to make this short and sweet.
Yeah.
So let's see. The game got a lot of great reviews. So
from critics.
I meant to pull this up before.
From critics or user?
So that's like the first part is like, well, critics gave it like a 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
Like IGN, GameSpot. It sits like at Metacritic. It's like at 96 or something.
Yeah. Is Metacritic? I don't use it at all. Get it? Is it like a?
It's just
like accumulation of everything, or
yeah. Okay. It's just like they
like Rotten Tomatoes.
They pretty much take the scores of every reviewer and they just compilate into one big score. Yeah. So right now the game sits at a 94 on Metacritic, and then the user score is a 4.9. So it's obviously gotten review bombed.
You think so?
Yeah, a 4.9 out of like 100.
This is my opinion. Okay, I'm about to say I've been holding this in my chest for a week now.
Yeah, so
I'm gonna say what I have to say. The hate for this game is super overblown, and I stand by that.
Yeah,
it's completely overblown. Not discarding your opinion or anything, but clearly some of these reviews from, I guess, the normal average Joe, more specifically user, applying some of them are clearly going to these buys videos or reviews that clearly has no interest in the game, but still reviewing it and just taking their opinion and actually not playing it. You can obviously tell some people are not playing the game.
Right.
I can see that clear as day.
Well, I mean, like Metacritic's like the user reviews, they're all it's just review bombing.
No way people finished that game that fast when it first came out.
No, it was as soon as the game went up on Metacritic, they bombed it.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like because the game is at least 40 hours long.
Yeah, it's about at top's probably 30 at max if you're a slow player. So I'm just gonna pit out how I personally feel about the game to just go in more detail with it.
Yeah. Okay.
So personally, I think it's one of the best games I ever played ever, and one of the greatest games of all time. This game is phenomenal, dude. I tell people when it comes to video games, people who don't play video games and they how to see video games as just pushing buttons and stuff. This game is an embodiment of video games maturing and evolving. Like I was legit shocked how well made this game was in terms of legit acting, which is something that I don't really look at in video game. Like the mocap is phenomenal in this game. Like, oh my god. the emotions, the acting, the story, and we get more detail on that. But like,
actually, I have a small tidbit about so at the beginning of the game, Troy Baker was doing a mocap scene, and he puts his finger in his belt loop when he's doing the mocap scene. And they said that they had to completely make new technology just for him to do that. And I noticed it at the beginning of the game. Yeah.
Like, I'm legit, like, when I finished playing this game, I was legit, like, blown away. Like, this game is an embodiment of what video games can become as an entertainment media thing, whatever. Like, this is a full-on, this movie, this game is an experience.
Especially, I mean, story-wise, like, the game is on the level of, like, I wouldn't even say like a movie and book, because I feel like
it's still a game.
We're finally like, well, what I'm getting at, we're finally hitting this threshold where games is active media.
That's what I'm praising.
And it's getting higher than movies and books.
This is peak.
It's an interactive movie, essentially. And I don't say that in like I'm saying like, oh, it's a walking simulator and you sit there for story. The gameplay is also on this so you have a great story and then you have a great gameplay and you merge it and it's just a playable movie.
Yeah. Like they take the characters seriously and the story, it takes itself seriously. And not saying like other games should do that. No, it's just the fact that this game does different from many games don't do. And people will argue like God of War or maybe Spider-Man or I don't know, any other game that focuses on story this generation. Like I think Last of Us does it the most perfectly well.
Story-wise, yeah. This would be like the closest out of this gen. This is probably the closest to like a book or something. And because they say, you know how they say like a book is better than the movie, right?
Yeah.
Well, I would say like if you compared it to like maybe God of War story, God of War story is more like a movie. This would be more like a book per se. I think
this game far surpassed the first one by a large margin.
Yeah,
both gameplay and story. And speaking of, when you trailing back to what you said about being an interactive movie and whatever. So this is a Spoilercast, but the final boss against not the final boss, but when you fight Ellie at the theater. I did not want to do that.
Can't even call them bosses.
Yeah, but that mission or whatever, when Abby goes back to the museum and just like fights Ellie, you fight against Ellie. That was really hard to do in terms of like emotional wise. I'm fighting myself.
Are you talking about? Are you referring to the theater or the water
theater
scene?
The theater fight scene. Yeah, like I'm legit fighting a character I truly care about, and that was crazy. Like I thought I don't want to hurt Ellie.
Did you feel? Yeah, I had. The game did something very interesting, which, and I guess it's just because like the game felt so long, but the game made me find like really really care about the characters.
Yeah,
like we got to know each and every character extremely well. You know what? I had this all broken down, and now we're just going completely out of order. But
no, it's fine.
So we'll just do characters for right now. But I mean, the game did a masterfully tailored way of even super minor characters. So if you remember from it wasn't E3, I guess State of Play gameplay, where we first see Ellie come out of the water. Fuck, my camera not focusing. We see Ellie come out of the water and she takes a knife, right, and stabs that girl on the neck, right?
The Vita
player girl. Yeah. And from like that perspective, so when you're in the game and you're playing as Ellie, that's like just whatever.
She's some goon. Yeah.
It's a goon. It's just some minor character, and you don't give a shit, right? You're just stabbing them, and you're trying to get on your way. When you start playing as Abby on the second part of the game, you go up to this girl, in the base, and you're like, holy fuck, like, and then it just gives us like, you kind of get this sense of like what you've done. Like,
you're a hero on this side.
And I mean, like, I get like when you kill an just an actual random goon in the game, and then their buddies scream out like their name or whatever, they want to feel like there is some kind of staying power, but like after like the 5th time I heard it, I was like, yeah, I don't really give a shit. I gutted Mark. I cut him down.
No, that was me with Manny, dude. Not to cut you off, but Manny, you remember he just spits on Joel? Like, who's this garbage person? Come back, he's one of the coolest characters in the game. He's a cool guy.
So like, but like, so those goons could give a shit less, but these other, but like, those characters don't carry any weight. But like, when I saw the Vita girl actually like was sitting there, actually having a conversation with Abby, and I'm like, oh my god, I stabbed her in the fucking neck and watched her gargle on her blood. And they said that at E3 like a couple years back, when they said you're going to care about these characters. And at first I thought like, oh, we're just gonna, they're just shouting their names, and I'm gonna care, and like, I killed a dog. And his name was Max or something. This is like, I don't really care, but I see what they mean now. Like, Manny's a great example, because at the beginning of the game, he's like a piece of shit, and you hate him. Yeah. And by the end of it, when you see Tommy shoot him in the eye,
you're God.
Like, oh fuck, that was like my friend, and he just dies in front of me.
That's awesome, dude. Like, I love that. Like, I think I've never seen it in a video game before.
Right, and there's so many characters to care about.
Yeah, like you look.
They do such a good job with a pretty wide range of characters.
Yeah, the side character, supporting character, like Dina. I love Dina. It didn't felt forced at all.
I saw some people got like annoyed with Dina.
Why?
I don't know. I mean, like, I didn't get too annoyed. The only time I ever got annoyed is just when I was like actually playing gameplay wise with her, and then her, like, the AI was just getting in my, like, they would kind of a little bit annoying, get in my way and stuff when I was like trying to walk through a door or something. But
Dina, I like Jesse, even though he didn't really have much, but I like his presence and dialogue a little bit. And I'm still having a debate who I like more, Ellie or Abby. I actually like Abby. Abby's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, you really, really grow to like Abby with when she starts going with her arc with what was the kid's name? It was Yara, and what was the
or something? Ones? I forgot the kid's name. Yeah, the scarred kid.
Yeah,
I love that dynamic together. Yeah, like, you're my people.
But the game does a extremely well job with mirroring each other. So Abby and Ellie both mirror each other.
Revenge path, yeah.
And you could almost like you could probably title this Spoilercast Mirror.
Yeah.
Because that's exactly what the story is. It's a mirror of each other's self. So let's break it down. So at the beginning of the game, you play as Ellie.
Yeah.
And you go through this, and we can kind of get into like where I have a problem with the story with this, but at the beginning of the game, you're ramping up as Ellie, right? You start fresh. You got to find your pills. You got to find your weapon upgrades, all that stuff with Ellie. And then you get to the rising peak of the game for Ellie, and it drops. And then you start off as Abby.
Yeah, about 5 hours and 5-6 hours. It switches over to...
I would say about 6, depending.
Yeah, it switches over to Abby.
But it's like you go your first 3 whole days as Ellie in Seattle. And then you start right back off as Abby in Seattle day 1.
Yeah.
And then you have to go right back up to the game, or right back up to Seattle day 3 as Abby. And just, they're both in like a cycle.
Then I was, before you continue, I remember I was texting you around the time I was like, still 1/3 of Abby's story, probably like an hour or two in Abby's story, her perspective. And it's when you go to her. It's like after you go to her, you reveal her base, and you just going out trying to find Isaac around that spot.
Are you talking about the? You're talking about the football stadium.
Football stadium, yeah. It hit me at that point where like now people who's watching, don't take this a negative way. I love the story, but when I got to that point, I'm like I'm ready to finish this game already. It felt like it was dragging on. It hit me hard at that point there. Like it was like because it's like this game is exhausting to play, not in a negative way, just like it's so much. Despite being a linear story, I feel like there's so much energy drawn out just to finish the game for me.
You think like the stealth? I think the stealth might have to do with that.
Is that? I think that's what it is. Like the clicker levels and Jesus Christ. Yeah,
because doing stealth like that and stealth. I mean, stealth levels can take a while.
Yeah.
Depending on how you want to do them, and they can draw a lot of energy out of you by like because you're holding your breath through those entire scenes.
Yeah,
right?
that's what it feels like.
Fuck. Yeah. Because you can't. The game does not give you enough resources to blaze through your, unless you are like playing on like the easiest difficulty.
Yeah.
And the game is just giving you a ton of ammo. You're probably holding your breath. You probably have like 3 shots in your pistol.
Yeah.
That's all you have. And you're like, I have to stealth it through this entire like level. And the game can feel super draining like that.
It's really draining game. And there's moments in a game where I got impatient. And it's really fascinating. I'm not sure if this is part of the game. Or like, is there, to me personally, there was like levels in this game where it encouraged you to get away from this location quickly as possible. Because there was too many goons. Do you have any experience like that?
I did that, I think, 3 or 4 times. And I love that option where
so it is an option to do
if
that.
If you know where to go, you can just run past everything.
Yeah.
So do you remember the level with the stalkers when you first kind of get into that building?
Yeah.
I can't remember if you play as Abby or Ellie. I think it's Ellie at first.
Stalkers.
There's a office building that you have to climb through, and it's nothing but stalkers. Ran right through them. I had to get to the other side of a building, and then I think once you get to the scaffold on the other side, I think a stalker tackles you into like the river. But I was like, you know what? No, fuck this. I don't have enough ammo for this. And then I'm like, I just started running straight. And then I kind of saw like because there's a dark room, and I kind of saw like the light of the window that I needed to get to, ran right to it, got out of there. And a lot of the game you can play like that. You can go like almost non-lethal if you are crafty enough to get through it.
Because it does this weird transition where the character's like, oh crap, I gotta get out of here. And then they had this little dialogue like, run. And like, I'm not sure that was like me doing that or that's part of the game that allows you to do that. Because the game doesn't really. It's fascinating. Like the game doesn't really tell you much. Like I learned. I was scrolling on Twitter and there's this guy who makes gifs of PlayStation games or whatever, like super cinematic gifs. And I noticed he was playing and he was fighting with Ellie. Then she did this backslide on her back. I'm like, what? You can do that? And like there's like
he must have hit
you can like
got knocked down and hit the dodge button.
No, like you gotta sprint apparently and then you push back and she does this like slide and she can shoot like what is that? And like another thing is which I saw on Twitter was when the dude I follow, he tweeted out this video that I was laughing at. I didn't experience that, but some people experienced it. You experienced that.
Oh,
I didn't know that was a thing.
I have a good story about that. This game does a really good job of scaring the shit out of you.
It's more atmosphere for me, yeah. Like
it's oh my god, dude! As many jump scares I got in this game, like just like fuck. When you're on the horse and you're in Seattle and you and Dina are riding the horse and the horse jumps over that
the explosion
explode. It made my heart fucking stop. I was like, ugh.
I can tell something that one. Yeah, when it gets too chill.
So let me tell you about this, because I've been waiting to tell you this story for a good while. So I'm in Seattle. I'm playing as Ellie. Dina is like in the hotel or at the theater. I think it's like after she tells you she's pregnant.
Yeah.
And this is kind of like when you first kind of go out on your own. And I get to this building, and I don't go through the front door. and I find there's a truck on the side. I never attempted to open the front door, and then I kind of noticed there was a big truck on the side of the building, and I was like, okay, I'll just take this. I'll just hop up on the truck. It leads up to a window. I'll go through the window. Get through the window, right? There's like a safe in the room and stuff, and then I do all that, and then I walk across the hall, and then there's some stairs leading downstairs, and then there's just another room. And I enter this room. It's like an apartment, and then I noticed there was one door that was like locked. It was like had like a red door, and I'm like, oh, the key must be around here somewhere. It must be downstairs or something. I'll go find it in a minute. And then I'm looting, and then I noticed, I'm like, oh, cool, like a workbench.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, bet I'll just do the workbench, and I'll go look for a key, and then we'll be all set to go out of this building. Get on the workbench. All I hear is, I'm like, what is that? I'm like, I didn't even try. I like attempted. I'm like, what is that? And then like, I start hitting like circle to get off.
Yeah.
And the dude just grabs me by the neck and so
I'm
like, oh my god. I was like, oh shit.
Maybe I did experience it, because isn't there a trophy where you got to get like all workbenches?
Yeah. Did you get that trophy?
I get that trophy. So I guess I did experience it. I just forgot about it.
Son of a bitch. I had to miss one, like just one or something.
Only trophy I'm trying to, I'm not going back to do these trophies, I'm not going to platinum. But that's one trophy that bugged me was the find that special ring. You found that one yet?
Special ring?
It's like the last trophy where you got to find this ring.
I found the egg.
Yeah, I found that too. The golden egg thing.
The Fabric J egg.
Yeah.
But they, son of a bitch, you could not go in that room because they were all hiding in there. There's 5 of them.
They were hiding?
That's why you couldn't open that door, because they're all in there hiding.
Funniest thing. Like the way they do these characters, like the AI characters or whatever, it's really fascinating how they use them. Like, especially the whistle character, the scars, they're creepy. Believe it or not.
That's a great point. Leads me to the second part of my like miniature heart attack series here. The first time I got shot with an arrow scared the shit out of
me. You calling it was the first time?
I went into the woods, right? And then I'm just like, I hear the whistling, and then I just hear, and then I'm like, I hear the arrow get shot, and I'm like, what is that? That's not a whistle. And then it hits me. Yeah. And like Ellie gets knocked down. I'm like, fuck. Oh.
This game is brutal, dude. Like, it's a really brutal game.
The game gun wise,
yeah,
the game feels amazing. The gunplay, like every shot feels incredible. Headshots feel crisp as fuck. They feel super satisfying. Mm-hmm. The realistic, like, that's like one thing I have to give to props to, which I heard that like some of the, and I mean this is all speculation, but I heard some of the devs had like PTSD from working on the game because they were subjected to watching actual people die.
I remember hearing about this too.
Hours, yeah. And then, but when you shoot someone in the head in this game, you can see if you shot them in the forehead. Mm-hmm. You can see the entry wound, right? And then you can see the back of their head, and it's like split like a banana, like peel getting open. And that's like legitimately like what actual, headshots look like. And I'm like, oh, they actually, I mean, like, you could just tell, like, oh, they actually did watch realistic videos because they made the deaths in this game extremely real.
Like, this game is really, like, really, really well made. And I'm not even exaggerating. Just small stuff like that counts. And, like, I don't think people realize that, like, the environment, you can use that as your advantage against fighting people. There's always just different kinds of animations for certain environments, too.
Yeah.
Like I remember Ellie, like, I didn't know, like, there's like, when you fight someone close to a wall, like, she like bangs their head to the wall and do like different kinds of animations I've yet to see to like middle of the game. Like, end of the game, they're like, what did that come from? And it's like, just all the combat, like, it feels heavy. Like, the character's like exhausted too when you fight them. Then, like, one of my favorite things is like when I got the bow and arrow and like it has like a drop. This bullet drop in this game is somewhat to a degree.
Yeah, you have to arc it.
Yeah, the arc. Like, oh wow, okay. Like, it's just like the really small details in this game that just matters, and like it's such a well crafted game.
Yeah,
in every detail, in my opinion, dude. Like,
I love how.
Oh my god!
The first time I used that, like a landmine that you can craft with Ellie, I blew up a clicker's legs, and that thing kept coming. It was like it just kept crawling, and then I just kind of waited it out, and then it bled to death. And I'm like, holy shit, that's really good.
Yeah. Or how did you feel about that boss? That level scared me. When you go down the giant.
You're talking about the Resident Evil boss.
The kaiju thing, that level scared me, dude. Like I was like, oh, God.
It did.
What is that?
It didn't really scare me because I knew something was coming because people are tweeting about like, oh, there's like a Resident Evil level.
I didn't see those tweets at all.
When I got to the part, so I got down to that basement. I'm like, this has to be it because I kept waiting around for it. And the dread for it though was great. I actually, that was probably one of my favorite levels because it was so fucking, that level's, and it maybe just been this one part, but the build up for it, fantastic. Cause
it was.
You go through that whole level in the parking garage and you turn on the generator, you get the stuff. And then when you start backtracking through that level, you notice that there's a big bloody wall. And you notice that, like, wait.
Because Abby says that too. Like, what is that?
There was a bunch of, like mushrooms and stuff built up on the wall. And then you notice that it's been opened. And you're like, what the fuck? And then you notice there's a blood slide.
Yeah, blood slide,
like, going across the room. And then you notice that there's two doors, like, shredded open.
Like the Hulk.
And then you're, like, going into a parking garage. And you're like, oh, my God.
Yeah.
Like, what could this be?
It's like some big, and I don't. Was it in the first game where you see them actually grow on walls now?
Yeah.
Was it in the first game? I can't remember.
When a clicker dies, they will find like a corner of a room, and then they'll do that spread thing,
hibernate or something,
and then they'll start growing into the wall. Which, by the way, when you're in Ellie and you drop in the water the first time when you get when the stalker like grabs you and you both like go down the water and
you and Jesse
go in that drain in the drains, there's like a little spot where to your left and you go in there is a fucking clicker that's like attached to the wall. That thing scared the fuck out of me.
Yeah, it scared me because I didn't realize it when I first playing, because I was playing as Abby when it happened. I didn't realize they were like, I was minding my business. I'm like, and then the thing came out popping. Where it come from? And she says like they come on the walls. They were clinging on the wall. Like, wow,
I know what level you're talking about. The place I went to with Ellie was kind of like a little hidden place, and it was kind of like a precursor to like the Abby level, because like after that happened to me when I was playing as Ellie, it never happened to me again. So it was only that one part. It was a jump scare. Yeah, it scared the shit out of me though, because I wasn't expecting that. But when like it started happening to Abby, I was like, oh, okay, I've seen this.
So it was new for me for Abby.
Yeah.
Okay.
But like I got it like really early.
That's nice that people experience different things in such a linear game though. Because the game does encourage you to explore too, which I took at times and stuff. So
I explored every fucking nook and cranny of that game.
You did? That's just something I don't know. Yeah. Which is really interesting part though.
I mean, Easter eggs and every did you notice any Easter eggs?
There's PS3s everywhere. Apparently you saw the.
I can't believe you didn't see this.
The Crash Bandicoot thing.
Yeah, that was.
A lot of people talking about that.
There was two porn tapes. So when you're in the weed basement,
you
can go. There's like old porn cassettes, or not cassettes, but VHSs, and this was the best name ever. They had a Crash Bandicoot parody porn called Smash. What is it? Smash Brandy's Cooter.
Oh my god!
And then they had another one, but I can't remember the other name. But that was like the best name ever.
Apparently, there was Uncharted DVDs flying around too. Apparently,
yeah, there was Jack and Dexter, and then there was Uncharted 2 with the fat PS3s.
Yeah,
because this happened what
2013. So PS4 hadn't come out yet.
I love the aesthetic that they have for the game, because they did this for The Last of Us Part 1 too. It's like it happened in Halloween, so there's Halloween decorations everywhere. Still
the con you go to. Yeah. Like,
oh yeah, and there's like in Seattle they have the Comic-Con.
Yeah.
Like
one of the speaking of levels, one of my favorite levels is the museum level. That level's amazing.
That was a
phenomenal level, and you just walk around and interact with the environment. It's like it's just so well made. I love how they did that.
And you really appreciate like Joel and Ellie's.
Yeah.
It's kind of like you're getting something. You like they're actually after part 1 they're actually getting to actually have a good day, like just a father-daughter day.
And it's so well made.
There's a lot of like there's a lot of like a what is the word? Foreshadowing in that level.
Yeah.
Or I don't know if I would say foreshadowing, but a lot of I guess for Ellie at that time because of her age. But once you get into the animal museum, the first thing you see when you get in the animal museum, there is a moose.
Was it?
There's a moose with a bunch of wolves surrounding it.
Yeah.
And then you go through the rest of the museum, and then you can see there's a moose corpse with its bones, and there's only two wolves left. Which I guess that's foreshadowing that Ellie and Abby do survive to the end of the game.
Yeah. What I was about to say. Well, I remember when I was playing the game, and this after Abby beats Ellie. You at the house, Dina, the baby Jesse. When she decided to turn around and go back to fight Abby, I didn't like that. Like in terms of character, I was like, God, let it go. She kept going.
At first, I didn't like that either. I was like, oh my God, well, why? You have everything. It's over. Like
so I thought the game was ending at that house. I thought it was going to end there.
So yeah, this game does like that's like one of the cons for this game I do have is like this game drags.
It drags. But with the content they give you is good, but it drags.
I guess that's why it feels like a book in a sense because it's just not flowing like a movie would. It kind of like you have chapters almost.
Mm-hmm.
Like you have Ellie's chapter, or you have like your prologue with Joel. Yeah. Joel dying.
I love Joel in this game.
And then you have like chapter 2 with Ellie starting her journey. Chapter 3, day 2 in Seattle, and then chapter 7, Abby, and then chapter 8, like Ellie, and then chapter 9, like she goes back, and all that. So that's why it feels like this huge book, but it's just like the game ramps up, drops down, ramps up, drops down, ramps up, drops down, until you finally get to the fucking end. Which the ending. There's so much passion. That was the most like.
God,
I'm trying to explain that like this how like there's so much emotion in the last like 10 minutes of the game.
Yeah.
Of you just that was such a realistic fight to me because it is like they're literally fighting with whatever little strength they have left. Both of them, Ellie and Abby, are like beaten to hell. They're at literally the end of their life.
Yeah.
And here they are like fighting to the death.
And Abby
and it feels, and you can feel it. You can feel the weight of their hits.
And the setting around it, where you're like in this little shallow water, and there's nothing really around you. Like you in this like this really hellish like environment, but it's just nature. I love how they did that too. The scenery of it.
You know what else is super beautiful and a story.
That's the start of the game too, by the way. That's the start screen.
Yeah. And then the ending screen is the boat on shore with water with in the light.
And it's sunny.
Have you noticed that like Ellie's like kind of like little symbol is the moth?
Yeah.
And then Abby's is the firefly.
Yeah.
And how like one is like lives in darkness and travels to the light, and the one that has the light that lives through the darkness.
Did you get it from Kind of Funny?
Yeah, a little bit. But I didn't know. I mean, but obviously that's a storytelling process.
Yeah. That's a really interesting topic because I would listen to other Spoilercasts too, and I promise you I'm not copying what they said. This is my opinion. Do you think Ellie is the bad guy here?
I think there's no good or bad guys in this world, and
that's what people
just
say
how like
too.
the first just like the first Last of Us. I mean, that was like Joel. Joel was a bad guy trying to redeeming himself. But I mean, I remember like the first thing Joel like did. I mean, like I remember one particular thing Joel did. He was torturing people.
Yeah.
He beat the shit out of this one dude. The dude told him the information because like I think David had Ellie at the point, and Joel was like torturing this dude.
Yeah.
And then he still killed him afterwards. And I'm like, oh, yeah, Joel's is a fucking bad guy that's just willing to do what he wants to get what he needs, like where he wants to go.
That's what makes Last of Us fascinating, though, because like remember how we talked about these characters and the different perspectives? There's no, there's no black and white in this universe. It's gray. And
it's gray. It's all gray. Yeah, it's like I mean, it can show you how the cycle of revenge works. Is like, oh, you killed someone I love, I'm going to kill someone you love. And it's just like, it just reverses itself. It's just like, oh, you're the bad guy. Now I'm the bad guy. You're the bad guy. Now I'm the bad guy.
Well, looking at like Abby's perspective, though, I see more good in her story than Ellie's and Joel's story. Joel selfishly killed her father. I mean, like Joel, this story is based off Joel's consequences.
Yeah.
And he killed Abby's father by selfish reasons. And Abby just getting revenge off that. Her revenge is more justifiable than Abby's. I mean, Ellie's.
But like, is revenge really justified? That's like the question.
It's not the right path to go. Well, it's still not a path to go. But
because
I'm just saying,
like her getting revenge on Joel led to the death of all her friends.
Yeah. Well, no. That's still Joel's consequence. Joel did that. If Joel never did that, none of this would happen.
Retaliate against Abby because Ellie didn't do anything to Abby either.
Yeah, because Joel didn't tell Ellie the real truth.
Well, I mean, Ellie found out, but I mean, in Ellie's eyes, Abby attacked her, like came onto her turf and attacked Joel, and that's why I get why, like at the second part where like before Ellie goes to California and she's like, has this life finally, she can be happy that she has like Dina and the baby in this house.
But she continues.
She continues because she can't sleep.
But here's the thing, Abby,
it's still driving her.
I'm glad you brought it up. Abby let that go. After that fight they had in the museum, she was done. And when she got it, she was on that cross thing. She's trying to escape. Like, yeah, she's done. Not because she was tired. Like she has no reason to fight you.
I'm not. She's like, I'm not gonna fight you.
Yeah, but Abby kept going. Ellie kept going. That's not proving my point. Like
even she was like, the boats are over there. Let's go. Yeah. Like she wasn't even questioning it.
No, she wasn't questioning it. She's like, oh, you again?
And you could see like right there, Ellie won a little bit. She didn't try to attack her outright or shoot her on the cross.
Yeah.
She started walking to the boat with her.
She questioned herself as she was going to the boat. She had a little win,
and that's like what they do in. I mean, that's a movie.
Yeah.
That's like plotting for a movie. It's like you have a little win, but then you fail again, and then then you win.
Yeah.
So she didn't kill her on sight, and then she got down to the boat, and she's like, "No, we're gonna finish this."
Yeah.
Now, how'd you feel? So, like during that fight, Ellie gets her fingers bitten off, and she gets her like pinky and her ring finger bitten off. And throughout the entire story, Joel starts this game off by playing Ellie it's a Pearl Jam song.
It's a song.
If I Were Ever to Lose You, I think that's the name of it. If that's not the name, leave it in the comments. But he starts that off. And Ellie, every time she finds a guitar, she will end up playing that song.
She couldn't even finish the song at the end.
Yeah. So she gets through the whole game, and she goes to play the song after it's all said and done, after the wounds have kind of, the wounds are still fresh. And she goes to play the song, and she realizes she can't play it. And she realizes, and I mean, this is what I've gotten from the story, is she realizes that she's lost a part of herself.
Yeah.
Because if you notice throughout the game, when she was living with Dina in the house, that she was an artist. She was painting She's playing guitars, and even at the beginning of the game, like in her notebook, she was writing songs.
And she was drawing too and all this stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, she was an artist, and that would be her life if it wasn't for the revenge. If it wasn't for her like going out and like just reaping havoc on everyone in Seattle.
And she threw it away to the side, and she became Joel at The Last of Us 1. She followed a path she shouldn't took.
Yeah.
And she did anyway, and Dina left, and which I'm glad Dina did.
Yeah, and she lost Dina. She lost. I mean, she lost it all.
She lost it all because of her reasoning on the wrong path.
And then she puts on guitar, and then the last shot of the game is her walking out of a field, and then they do like a close up of a guitar. It has her moth.
Up. Yeah.
And then it's like blurred out in the back, but you can see her just walking through the field, going. Who knows? I don't know where she would go. I guess back to Jackson.
I don't know. I kind of don't want a Last of Us 3. Because in my eyes, I thought Last of Us 3 going to be about Ellie dying, and it's going to be about Abby and the kid. Thought it was going to be the sequel.
And I thought that was going to be it.
But I don't think Abby's going to be, if they do a sequel, I don't think Abby's going to be part of it at all. That story is done. She may cross paths and probably team up some.
I mean, what else? Crap. I mean,
I think Abby's story.
Like for the first game, we get. Sorry to cut you off, but I mean, for the first game, we said the exact same thing. It was like, why do we need a part 2? Mm-hmm. Because the first game ended perfectly fine, and then in this game, it shows us that we did need a part 2. It wasn't a sequel though. It wasn't a Last of Us 2. It was a part 2.
Yeah.
What happens to these? And essentially, this game says like, what happens to these consequences that led in the first game? Yeah. Joel has to pay. Actually, Ellie pays for Joel's sins. She has to suffer. She has to watch him die.
That's what I was saying.
She has to wake up in the middle of the night hearing him scream.
It's just like PTSD, whatever, or something.
It's like that saying, like the son will pay for the father's sins.
Yeah. Apple
Eating essentially story. Exactly what happened to Ellie.
Yeah.
But what this game says, I mean, in first part and the second part, is this world is vicious. And there's, no matter where you go, there's always going to be people killing each other. Like she went to Seattle. It was the wolves and the Seraphites killing each other. But then she goes to
I love how they did that, by the way. There's 3 people.
And then they had the Rattlers.
Yeah.
There's just going to be people out for blood. It's just a vicious world. I just don't know what else they could say about that world. I mean, I don't know. I mean, but maybe they find a silver lining in it, but...
That's what I was saying, though. Like, because this world exists, this current point exists simply because of Joel's action. This could all have been changed if he didn't kill Abby's dad. That's what I'm saying. Like you said, this game is Joel's sins. And like you can see the burden on him too throughout the game. Like you remember he said that he was talking to Abby in a flashback, like he said, if the Lord gave me a chance to redo it again,
that would do it again.
Yeah. He wouldn't like kill he would let Abby, he would find a vaccine or whatever.
Did you how'd you like that? Like that they kind of just took everything out of the events. So the essentially the first part of the game they cut out into like 3 different chunks.
Yeah.
And they fed it to you at like different parts of the game. And they give you kind of like the resolve between Ellie and Joel at the beginning of the game. They gave the resolve at the end of it before he died. And I kind of honestly teared up a bit when she was like, I can never forgive you for saving me at the hospital, but I can try.
Mm-hmm. She never really gave him a chance.
Yeah, but she's like, it's I can try.
And that's what's punishing her too. She didn't really kind of forgive him, really. I guess she waited it out, and that's what's kind of, but it's kind of help. That's just kind of the add fuel to the fire on her revenge. Like she, I guess, took her time to forgive.
I think. I mean, like, I think she forgave him.
Is the wordly weirdly?
What?
It wasn't wordly weirdly. Like, you know, the scene, like, there was on a porch or whatever at night.
Yeah. This was after the bar scene.
So did she forgive him? That's why I didn't really take that clearly enough.
So there was the part where they go to the hotel and then they have that dispute. Do you know what I'm talking about? Where they, like, her and Tommy, the level starts off with her and Tommy shooting.
The music, they go to get some music CDs or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, and then like and then she has, because she knows.
Yeah.
She finds out because she goes to the hospital and then Joel tracks her down, sees her, and then she's like, "Why didn't you tell me?" And then she has a hard time forgiving him about that, and she carries that for years. This is like years before.
Was this before she had a breakdown or after she had that breakdown?
This is way before.
Back. I'm talking about that breakdown she had when they was outside when they had it. And because Joel was looking for her, like, where you went? He was scared. And she started breaking down, crying about the situation again.
That's the scene I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You see her, like, grow up, like, from a kid at the museum to her finding the thing out she goes to the hospital where she breaks down.
Mm-hmm.
And then she's like, you know, he's like, "Tell me the truth, I'll go back to Jackson with you."
Yeah.
And then he's like, "Yeah." It's like, "I saved you." And then at the end of the game, it's essentially, she said that because she never really forgave him about that. But at the very end of the game, before Joel dies, which is like taken out of, they chopped it up.
Yeah.
They gave you, because this happened before Joel died.
Yeah.
It was after the barn scene with her and Dina kissing. Then after that, like, Joel and Ellie had that scene that they put at the end. Yeah. Put it at the end of the game. And she's like, "I can try to forgive you." And then it's a resolve to that whole thing about, and that's why Ellie is she's bloodthirsty, because, like, she didn't have that beef anymore with Joel. It's kind of giving a resolve, because I mean, they couldn't give a resolve with her at the end of the game because Joel's dead and then, you know, he's gone. So I mean, that's why I could see why they had to break it up like that, but it made sense.
Yeah.
Do you have any closing thoughts?
Are we wrapping up right here? Yeah.
Yeah, because we're hitting about 50 minutes.
I think I say I have to say, like, the gameplay.
If you had to give this 1 out of 100, what would you give this?
I don't do movie scores.
But just 1 out of 100, how do you feel about this game?
1 out of 100?
Is this game better than God of War?
By far, yeah. I'm saying, like, okay, we talked about this the other day, but for different subject though. Like, this is the best, one of the greatest games of all time, but it's not my favorite game of all time.
Yeah.
I prefer Spider-Man.
Let's say, like, I mean, this generation, it's up there. It's in the contenders. By far. I mean, Spider-Man, God of War.
Yeah. I think it's one of the most well-made games I ever played, but it's not my favorite. But it's not a bad game by any other means.
No. And like I said, it's like I literally sat down and I played a book.
Yeah. But
it was masterfully crafted.
Yeah.
If I had to compare it to God of War versus this, I think God of War is probably a better game than this game. But simply because God of War has, and no pun intended, God tier gameplay, which is like the whole point of a video game. But this game has a better story, which is kind of saying a lot, because, like, God of War also has a mastercrafted story.
Mm-hmm. Like, there's one thing I will say is about PlayStation in general. Jesus Christ, I know it says hypothetical. There's PlayStation guys listening to this. You guys are legit killing it this generation. If you look at the lineup,
really are, yeah.
Like, some of these games majority of these games are critically acclaimed games, back to back. I don't know what's going on over there, but specifically Naughty Dog, you guys are really talented people out
there. I could say this is probably Naughty Dog's best game.
Best by far. And I prefer Uncharted over the Last of Us series, and by far. I think this game hit a certain level of expectations for me. Like they and I'm not just dragging this on, like saying the same thing, but I just like I'm legit shocked how well this will like the way like we were just talking about the story. We're talking about a video game. Yeah, that shouldn't be said about a video game, right? You see what I'm saying? We're talking just like as a movie, not as a bad thing, but it's like.
But just like a movie, it's like it's crazy how like you started the game off hating characters. Like when you first play as Abby, you do not want to do it. You don't want to keep playing the game. You're like, fuck this. I don't want to play as Abby. And by the end of it, you're like, oh shit, I love Abby as much as I liked Ellie. Yeah,
like when I first discovered Abby, like played Abby, like I didn't hate her. I was like, what is with this character? She's so weird, and like. And as I got more to her and I started to understand her. And no, she's not a transgender. And speaking of that, she's jacked because she likes to train a lot. They specifically tell you that during the story.
I know. I think she was actually trans.
No, she wasn't trans. They just said that she's a girl. You know why she's jacked? Because she's been on revenge. They established that.
And
she loves to train. That was
like one of the things, like, that I want to touch on is like, every time her and Owen was together, she was always trying to like it was like, we gotta go train. I gotta go train.
Yeah.
Like
that's why she's jacked.
Yeah, and she's like she had to train to go hunt down Joel.
I mean, I don't think it was that necessary to get jacked like that to kill one man.
Well, that just shows you how like
dedicated she was.
How far in the deep hole of revenge she wanted.
And she was
so consumed by it.
She was annoying. Owen hated that too.
Yeah, and I mean that's why her and Owen never worked.
Did that relationship bother you by any chance? How old is Owen compared to her?
I have no idea how old.
That felt so weird to me. Because he like was in like a grown man. She's like a teenager when they were kids, right? Younger. To me, at least.
You know what? Now you say something, a little bit. I can see what you mean because it did seem like she was probably like 15. And he looked like he was about like 18 or 19, I guess.
21 or something. Like I don't know. But yeah. Overall, this is a phenomenal game, dude. I highly recommend it.
I would say this is definitely a must play.
A must play, by far. And I know it's opinions for people out there, but I simply do believe this game is simply getting hate. Overblown hate.
Ooh, I do want to say, I want to give a big props to the cutscenes into the gameplay.
Yeah,
they look fantastic.
This game is gorgeous, by the way. I didn't even talk about the graphics.
They fuse it so well.
Yeah, and I'm not keep tracking this on this video, but this game is gorgeous. And imagine what PS5 Last of Us will look like. Like Last of Us 3.
The atmosphere in the game with the fog and everything in Seattle, and then like the one thing that really blew me away was when you and Dina are going through, like, first getting to Seattle, and you're going through that. It's just ferns and it's just lush greenery.
Oh, the lighting.
Oh, it's so beautiful. I'm like, holy shit. This
My favorite was
straight up like a cutscene.
The cult scene. The lighting was amazing in that. That looked real. When Abby gets captured and she's hung up to those. Yeah. Amazing. But you didn't tell me. Well, I guess you said I probably didn't hear it. But how do you overall like? So you think this game's amazing too, or whatever?
Definitely a must play. If I had to put a rating on it, I would put it like at a 95 out of 100. I would take off 5 points just because the game does
drags.
I had 2 complaints, and it was just mainly like the story dragging a lot of the time. It just ramp up and then drop down.
Yeah.
And I was talking to Irving the other day, and he said he was getting like bored with it because of that happening. He said because it just you get exhilarated, and then you lose all momentum, and you have to ramp it back up again. And then even I was like, oh shit, I really gotta like
that's how I felt.
Re-upgrade all these guns and fix them, and then find the pills and do all that shit.
Yeah.
And then the other one is just the AI. When I had companions, they kind of like. I get they were there to support me, but they kind of got my way. And usually,
really? I didn't Spanish.
When I got away, when I was alone, I was like, okay, I can actually like do the shit I'm supposed to do. Because like I know like when I was playing with like Jesse would get in my way when I was like crouched and I was trying to do. Whenever I had a companion, I could not do stealth, and I guess maybe you're not necessarily supposed to do stealth when you have a companion. Yeah, I was trying to play the game, but anyway, I'm rambling.
No, I didn't experience it at all. That's all you had. That did like enemies spot AIs at all?
They wouldn't spot the AI, but it would take me right out of the immersion because the AI would be standing next to me, and then the enemy AI would look right at them, look right at them, and I'm like, yeah.
You remind me to use a video game. This is how The Last of Us 1 was too. With Ellie. Yeah. People had a criticism with Ellie's AI too. She can be in the open. The character doesn't see her.
Right.
Yeah, I get you there.
Yeah, I had that problem.
Same as my criticism too. Is the story just dragged on. Even though I enjoy the content it gave me, there's moments in the game where I just want to be finished and be done with it.
Yeah.
But every time I say it to myself, it says, "Oh, there's more part to the story." Like, okay. But when I lead to the point, I'm still enjoying this, but I still want to finish it. And it really hit me like when she got to the house, and that was the end of the game. Nope, you gotta go to San Francisco, whatever.
You watched me play that, and I said that I'm like, oh, okay, this is gonna be the end of the game. Right?
No, I didn't tell you. I was gonna tell you, but I did. I'm gonna see how you react.
Yeah, I know, but you watched me do it, and but in my mind, I was like, okay, this is the end of the game. And then you texted me, and you're like, no, you still got about 3 more hours. And I thought you were lying. I'm like, there's no fucking way this game has 3 more hours. There's no way. Like... Sure enough, it had 3 or 4 more hours.
Mm-hmm. And that, no, I'm be honest with you, that's probably the weakest part of the game, except for the because it felt unneeded to me. That part until at least
California.
Too late. Yeah, that was so. It felt like
it DLC. Was kind of like a what's the word for it? It's not a prologue, but it's a
epilogue.
It's the ending. Epilogue, is that the end?
That's what it did feel like.
It's pretty much the epilogue to the game. It's like
a playable epilogue. Yeah, and I mean it wasn't bad by any means. I didn't. You can cut that out and just go skip to. Well, it makes sense towards the ending where they fight in the water, but that part leading to that was like I didn't care, like doing it. We had to finish this game.
I noticed the exact same thing. And even in the Last of Us Part 1, it mirrored that entire scene. Because, like, I thought that Last of Us Part 1 was going to end a long time ago. It was just like that. Because I remember Joel got a machine gun. He gets the AR at the end of the game, and then you fight the Fireflies going through the hospital. That entire last level is exactly like the first game. Yeah. It just mirrored it.
Yeah.
But I think we can stop it there.
Yeah, it's an hour-long video. It's over 15 minutes, but it's fine. Yeah, dude, like, are you gonna play this again? Because I only played The Last of Us 1 once, and I have the game. I'm gonna play this. I'm not gonna play this again.
You know what? I may go back one day and try to get some. I might try to platinum it. I feel like I could, with all the. I mean, we didn't talk about the accessibilities. The accessibilities are amazing. But I mean, I might turn on the accessibilities and then go back and platinum this game.
Yeah,
but now I'm just waiting for Ghost of Tsushima to come out.
Ooh, we might do a spoilercast for that too.
Ooh, I love that.
Yeah, that's gonna be a really hard one because it's an open world game.
Yeah, I'm gonna put about 60 hours in and be like, yeah, I'm only halfway through the game.
But anyway, guys, hope you liked this video. Hope you made it through this video. Thank you for watching or listening. Some added to Spotify as well. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, The Drunken Ship. We upload every Fridays, 9 a.m. Eastern Time. It's gonna be a special episode this Friday actually, because I won't spoil it. But
yeah. Oh yeah, we have a guest. We have a special guest.
Well, you spoiled it. Yeah, there you go.
I'm not saying who, but we have a special guest.
But anyway, guys, really means a lot for watching and listening to our content. So, thanks for watching or listening, or take care.
Thank you guys.